All right, welcome everybody. We're excited to jump on in here. We're going to be talking about AI CX. And to do that, we brought on a new friend of mine, Fraser from Gorgias. Fraser, appreciate you jumping on. And how the heck are you?
Yeah, doing well, Gabe. Thanks for having me. Excited to do this with you.
Yeah, I think this will be fun. Really a wealth of experience. And dang, you guys are doing some cool stuff over there at Gorgias. Excited that you guys have jumped into the AI CX Summit just to see if we can help push the word forward on how people can do more with less. Oh my goodness, what an interesting time. Before we dive into the topic at hand, though, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me what's going on at Gorgias. Let's hear it.
Yeah, sure. I found my way into the world of CX sort of by accident. I started working at a survey company, sort of post-purchase surveys, and parlayed that into working for AI CX companies for the last 5 years. Most recently, 16 months at Gorgias. Super excited about what we're doing for e-commerce in general, more specifically Shopify brands. And we're seeing incredible results in automating some of the biggest brands in the world's customer experience.
Cool, man. Cool. And before that, you were hanging out at Ada. So you've been doing kind of the CX world for a long time, it seems like. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I think, at Ada, we partnered with lots of different help desks, customer Zendesk, or just being some of them. So I really got a front row seat to all the help desk experiences. And my next step was to go to sort of an experience like Gorgias. And I kind of like the e-commerce world. So it appealed to me, and I knew they were doing some pretty exciting stuff over here. So that was the journey.
Yeah, and Ada's doing cool stuff as well. So let's dive in a little bit. Again, Gorgias, you guys, and kudos. Some amazing things, I think, happening as you indicated, and the company has continued to grow in a very crowded space. You're at the kind of the spear, top of the spear, if you will, of dealing with brands and e-commerce and some of the challenges and talking to them about what's working and not working. Would just love you to take a step back. How do you see this world? A lot of noise going on. AI, is it real? Is it not real? Ticketing systems, state of the state. How is CX evolving right?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think there has been a lot of evolution in the last 5 years. When I started in CX, we were doing sort of pre-built workflows that customers would go through. And now customers are sort of interacting with AI agents that can perform actions for them, as you are well aware. So it's evolved a lot over time. I think directionally, these more sort of specialized companies working in specific verticals are gaining a lot of sort of industry knowledge. And I think more specifically, perhaps than that, really sort of going down the path of how do we recreate what human agents are doing using the technology that we have at our fingertips today.
Yeah. Where do you feel like, certainly, obviously, AI is the topic at hand today and just about every conversation in America, but where do you feel like it's winning, and where do you feel like it's losing, or where should it be and where shouldn't it be?
Yeah, I like that question. It's definitely winning in the eyes of sort of the CFO, I would say. The math is simple, right? If I can find an AI that can successfully do what humans do for cheaper, that's a net benefit to me if I'm financially minded. It's probably still losing in the customer's eye or the end user's eye. I think too many bad experiences exist out there that may not even be AI, but customers perceive them to be, maybe those old workflows that I was referencing.
Yeah.
And they, you always hear stories of people saying agent, 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 whether it's on the phone or
press
chat.
Press one, those 0, right? Yeah.
And we've all been guilty of it. So I think we have work to do as a collective industry to create better customer experiences and user experiences. It's sort of a rising tide lifts all boats.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good kind of framing. How do you help companies? I mean, certainly there's so many tools, there's a new AI company every day. Guilty as charged, right? We're one of them. But you guys have a unique perspective because you guys have kind of the platform concept, and then you got some AI built on top of it. I'm curious, kind of the pitch almost you guys go to market. Like, how do you, certainly you guys want to partner with great companies as well, but you've got your own kind of platform. Do you see Gorgias managing the platform with AI? Do you guys see yourself moving more just purely into the AI world? How do you guys really help companies deliver transformation these days.
Yeah, I've been lucky to meet almost every one of the leaders you have on the AI CX Leadership Awards over the last 16 months. So I've really gotten to experience the sort of the full gamut of the problems people are facing
Yeah,
and sort of the stories they're trying to tell. In terms of where we're trying to solve with customers, I think we're always trying to fit it into their sort of structure and workflow. We'll meet teams who think 100% of everything should be automated. I probably wouldn't put myself in that cohort.
mhm,
I'd probably
mhm.
put myself in the high automation rate, but inherently, I think there are some things that are still better handled by humans. And so we sort of offer both the help desk, which is the escalation piece, and the AI, which is the automation piece. So we do play both sides of the coin. And I think, at least with the technology we have today, that is working well for us.
That's
But
cool. Yeah, yeah.
I,
I like
you
the
know,
combo. I mean, certainly, do you see what's the talk around help desk? Does help desk disappear? Does it, in some of these conversations, I've heard some people say, hey, I'm talking to AI vendors and they say, who needs a help desk anymore? You can just have agents do everything or something. Like, what's the future of a help desk in your opinion? Is people, and again, I'm just trying to, there's so much noise, people are just like, I don't even know. So I'm curious maybe on this one, what's the future of a help desk? What role does it play?
I think its role shrinks.
Like,
I don't think it becomes necessarily, goes the way of the dodo bird, but I think it shrinks in that it's going to be reserved for a subset of 15, 20, 25% of tickets that are above and beyond the scope of AI today. And if we're really future forward looking, I think that 15, 20, 25 probably shrinks over time. But I think there are always edge cases. Like if somebody says 40% of my tickets are where's my order, I don't just go, okay, we can automate 40% of those. I would say we can probably automate 90% of that
all of them. Yeah.
40%,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
other 10% are still going to be escalations.
Interesting. Do you feel like, and sorry, this is rapid fire. This is a fun one for me. Do you feel like, obviously you guys have the help desk, and so you're involved in this world. There's always a debate, agents are going to disappear and AI will do everything in customer service. Again, you're right in the middle of that. Obviously, it's a balance right now. Where do you kind of see that playing, or how do you answer that question? Like, what's the future of kind of mixing an agent with an AI agent?
I think there's probably room for both to exist in the short term. And I think, a lot of what we are sort of discussing with e-commerce brands is how do we augment humans' work with AI as much as possible? Sometimes that's replacing the tickets you work on. So those could be sort of some of the more simple tickets, some of the more complex tickets. But then there's a secondary layer, which is the tickets you do have to work on as an agent, how can we make your life easier in some way,
Mm.
shape, or form?
I wanted to go there next actually in here because yeah, well, finish, and then I want to dive a little deeper into that kind of agent co-pilot concept, but finish your thought.
Yeah, I was going to go down that path as well. I think some of it is as simple as you're writing into me in Dutch and I only speak English. How can I help you interact with me in my language? And then at a deeper level, it's how do I provide you the right tools to speed up and better serve customers? So I think
Mm.
the benefits are speed, accuracy, and at the end of the day, customer satisfaction if we do our jobs right.
Well, let's click on that co-pilot for a second. What do you feel like? I feel like this one isn't talked about as much. I'm not
Yep.
sure why. It does feel like most of the AI conversations are, I probably do know why, but most of the conversations seem like they're focused on, the deflection stuff, right? The where's my order versus like, how do I enable my reps to be, more superhuman?
Yep.
Why do you think that is?
I think there's space for both. I think some of the sort of helping out of reps is almost a stepping stone to full resolution. You'll engage with a variety of stakeholders, and some of them are less comfortable with that full resolution use case right off the bat. And so sort of co-pilot type approaches help that stakeholder get over the hump and sort of get more comfortable. So I think that's one of it is it can kind of provide a stepping stone to full resolution. But I think even with full resolution in place, like I said, there's still going to be tickets escalated. I think there's still space to help those agents out in a variety of ways. Again, speed, CSAT, etc.
Yeah. What do you feel like are, because I feel like they're less talked about. What are, a couple, give me two or three if you can. Agent enablement AI capabilities. You mentioned, I think, for example, like the live translation that could be something that would be valuable. Are there other things you're seeing adopted that, again, just are there to not quote unquote replace the agent, but there to just enable the agent?
Yeah, I think the first iteration I ever saw of this was the summary on a handover.
The
So
handover. Yeah,
a
geez.
ticket gets
That's an obvious one, right? I can't, oh,
yeah,
goodness.
ticket gets escalated. It's got 15 messages back and forth. If the agent has to read those 15 messages, that's time spent. If we can summarize that really efficiently, that is a net benefit to the agent. Translation is kind of the next step, which is I don't speak your language, or I want to hire agents that speak one language perhaps, but they need to be globally present. AI helps us do that without necessarily having to, tap into old school sort of translate APIs, let's say. And then the final piece, which, we have sort of dabbled in here, is how do we offer sort of next best action or responses to agents that they can almost drop into a conversation? That's a little bit more nuanced because you have to understand the sort of SOPs of the business at sort of quite a deep level, but that adds a layer of sort of human interpretation
I
before
love it.
AI is
I love
meeting
it.
the end user.
Super helpful. One of the challenges that's been brought up as we've even prepared for some of this stuff, the event, is that people are having a hard time understanding, for so long a brand would buy a technology and it was like a per seat license type thing. And now AI is coming in and it's different and it's pricing different and it's different. Right. Thoughts on how, been in this world, and obviously Gorgias is doing it, but how are you kind of coaching people to kind of understand the new pricing model as they deal with trying to consume and push AI into their business?
Yeah. So historically, like when I worked at Ada and we only did automation, the argument was we charge per resolution or per
Yeah.
conversation. Your help desk charges per seat. If your help desk is trying to sell you AI, that immediately contradicts their seat model, which is a
That's how,
tough.
yeah, I love that.
That
Sorry.
that was like
Continue.
the sales enablement moment,
Yeah, it's
right?
like one's eating it's like they're eating each other.
Yeah. And so our approach is largely based on volume here. It's volume of help desk tickets, it's volume of AI tickets. But more importantly, we've gone down the path of resolution based pricing. This is a hot topic in the
It's a hot
industry.
one, isn't it? But I feel like I know it was a hot topic amongst technology companies, but I feel like brands are feeling the effects of it. And so I feel like it's becoming a hot topic with brands.
Yeah, it's a hot topic, and I see both sides of it, to be honest. The conversation-based pricing, very predictable. I knew that I did 100,000 conversations last year. Charge me for 100,000 conversations. That's easy for me as a buyer. We took the resolution approach, and the reason we did is it really aligns our incentives post-sale with our customers.
Yeah.
So if I tell you, you have 100,000 conversations and we want to sell you 50,000 resolutions, we better darn well make sure that your automations, your AI agent is as successful as possible because we want to make sure you get to at least that 50,000. Otherwise, at the end of the year, you're going to come back to us and say, hey, we'd like to right size this contract, let's say. So that's kind of how we've approached it, but it's the hottest topic probably in all of AI, let alone just CX.
And it's new for everybody. So obviously it is a little bit confusing. As you start to implement some of these different brands, what are the things that, or blockers? It's like these, I'm trying to make this learning for others, but is it sometimes the data? Is it the process? Or when you're trying to make Gorgias successful in the way that you guys do, you get in there, you start getting with clients, and are there some typical things that companies are doing or have in place that limit their ability to be able to start that transformation journey that others of us could kind of take and start to prepare for?
Yeah, I'd say most companies have a knowledge base in this day and age, and that's really sort of the foundation layer of AI in terms of getting that first sort of jump into automation. It adds a layer of resolution, but it's not the be all end all. The next step is always those like action oriented workflows, right? It's connecting to, in our case, the Shopifys of the world, the Parcel Labs of the world, the list goes on. So I guess the first hiccup we face is when brands have these operating procedures, but they're connected to older, clunkier systems
Huh.
that maybe don't
Interesting.
have integration capabilities. So, when I'm talking to brands, I'm trying to look at their entire tech stack and understand, like, we have an opportunity in subscriptions, or we have an opportunity in app, like post sale, to automate, and understanding what those technologies are and making sure we can integrate with them.
Ah, fascinating. That's a cool one. You're in that ecosystem so much, and this might be a little shout out to some of those companies, but what is your experience like? What is some of the most popular, the top integrations that, that brands need in order to be successful? And again, this might be a little shout out to some of your partners here, but anything come to mind? I'm curious.
Yeah, this will get me in trouble one way or another, but
Yeah, sorry.
it's okay. I mean, we have a ton of great partners
For
at
sure, for sure.
Gorgias. Some that I've been working fairly closely with the Parcel Lab folks recently.
Yeah, they seem, yeah, kudos to that team. Amen.
Really, really bright, and really enjoyed the interactions we've had with them so far. Lots of partners in that space in particular. The loops, the afterships. I'm
Mhm.
trying to cover my bases here.
I told you this is gonna be the hot seat, but so
Yeah,
far you've
yeah.
survived.
That's okay. And then, I mean, naturally, our biggest partner is Shopify at the end of the
Yeah.
day. It goes without saying, like, from an AI perspective, we only work with Shopify. And frankly, a lot of our capabilities are, one of the things we do that really almost nobody else does that I'm aware of is we ingest the entire product catalog. It's not really a secret. If you go talk to a Gorgias AI, you'll see it. And that just means that customers can ask product questions, they can get recommendations, really like
Mm,
going beyond the world of sort of post-sale support and going into the world of, being able to help customers make that purchase.
yeah.
So
Love it. I love it.
Shopify's a big one.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure that we could make this segment 50 minutes, but we'll cut it short and let you off the
Yeah.
hook on that.
I-
Do
I'd
you
still get,
feel do you feel like, one of the things, that still comes up, it's not as AI related, but I think it's always connected. That saying that I think you guys at Gorgeous have been saying for a while, but certainly it's been in the industry as well. It's not a cost center, it's a profit center type concept. How have you started to help companies navigate that more? Certainly, we've been diving into some of these reduction and deflection and AI type of stuff, but I know that's something you guys have espoused for a while, but how do you help them do that? Or what are some of the thoughts that you're seeing companies or brands do to actually live that motto? It's not a cost center. It can be a profit center as well.
yeah, I think at the most fundamental layer, your CX team, whether it's AI or human, talks to your customers the most. They have like that ground level
Mhm.
feedback, which
Right.
is really valuable information. And probably most platforms don't do a good enough job of making sense of that
Yeah.
information. I think that's pretty foundational to starting down the path of becoming more profit and less cost. And then I think the next thing is like being inherently tied into your e-commerce platform. In our case, because our customers make money when they sell physical or digital goods, we have to know when they make those sales, and we start to attribute either to our AI agent or to our human agents. We start to attribute those sales to them. There's some art and some science to it, like anything in this world. But that's kind of the goal, is like, if these people are having these really, or AI are having these really rich conversations with your end customers, some of those are converting and they should get credit for it. And we do our best to attribute and account for that.
Fun, man. All right. Well, grilling session just about to be concluded here. I appreciate letting just
It's all right.
rapid fire, as it's fun to kind of talk to someone who's on the front lines trying to help brands navigate this. Hit a bunch of different topics today. A lot of companies obviously in a different place, but many are trying to get going on their AI journey. What advice would you leave for those people who are probably more, maybe been either observing on the sideline or just dabbling, playing it with it themselves, and their teams are starting to maybe play a little bit? How do you really get going? Any advice for those people who want to kind of move from maybe first base to second?
I think my biggest advice, having talked to probably 500 brands in the last 5 years, is you can start slow.
Mm.
If you spend time in the news or on X or anywhere else, you'll see all these overwhelming posts about AI. But at the end of the day, there are baby steps you can take before you dive into, advanced workflows that require API integrations and my team to support. There are baby steps that can start without necessarily taking you down the rabbit hole. So that would probably be my advice
Well,
is
huh.
kind of, I guess the cliche would be just start and you can always escalate or, roll back from there. But I think you're probably doing your team and your customers a disservice if you don't start
Love it.
sometime soon.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's like you got to get your hands dirty. Cool, man. All right. Well, a fun talk track. Appreciate you jumping on. If someone wants to, continue the dialogue with you, learn a little more about Gorgias, what's the best way to do?
Yeah, you can obviously check us out at gorgias.com. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm always happy to get a couple more connections. Like I said, I've met most of the AI CX award nominees. I hope to meet the rest of them sometime soon. But yeah, happy to connect, happy to chat more. And I've been in this space for some time, so I've seen the ups and the downs.
Love it, man. Love it. All righty. Well, hey, again, appreciate you jumping on today, Fraser. For everybody else, have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Gabe.